Hi, this is Craig Stocks here for Utah Desert Remote Observatories. You can find us online at utahdesertremote.com. I want to talk briefly, just through a very quick tutorial, on color mapping monochrome images. Now this could be monochrome red, green, and blue, or it could be monochrome narrowband, such as hydrogen, oxygen, and sulfur. And the example image I'm going to use is of the Seagull Nebula. Now keep in mind I have already put the image together and then taken it apart. So what we're doing here is kind of the easy part, but what I'm really wanting to do is just stress a couple of the fundamentals, not trying to show an end-to-end workflow, but how to manage what sometimes is one of the more difficult pieces. So the first thing we want to do is open up the 4 grayscale images. Actually, there's 3 images that are monochrome, and then we have the stars on a 4th layer. And I have all of that on the website, so you can go to the website at utahdesertremote.com, go to the blog, and download the images. Once you have them downloaded, we need to load them all into one document in the Layers panel, which is over on the right. And the easy way to do that is to go to File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack, and that will open this dialog box where you can choose to browse to go find the files that you want to load, and navigate to wherever you saved those files and just select the 4 and click OK, and that will populate the file list. Click OK again, and now we'll see Photoshop begin to load the 4 files over in the Layers panel. It basically works in the background to load each file and then copy it into a layer into a single document. So when we're all done, we'll have all 4 documents open and each one on their own layer. And the layer that the order that they wind up in seems to be a little bit random. It doesn't always open in the same order. But I do like to have an order over here, and so we can just click and drag to put the layers in whatever order we want. Generally I want the star layer on top, so I'll just click on that layer and then click and drag and pull it up to the top. And now I'll use the little eyeball icon over here to turn that layer off for now. And then the 3 color layers I like to have in order from the bottom to top: red, green, and blue. You don't have to. I just find it easier to keep myself mentally organized if I have them organized that way, and we can see here that they are already organized that way. The last thing you might want to do is go to Image Mode and confirm that the document is an RGB color. And if it's not, you may find that it's in grayscale, which is how Deep Sky Stacker and PixInsight typically would save TIFF files. If it is in grayscale, then just click on RGB color to convert the image to RGB color. Now, the magic happens because even though this is a black and white document or black and white image, the colors are all there. It's just that red, green, and blue pixels are equal at every point. So when red equals green equals blue, you get a neutral or no color. And what we want to do is selectively use red for the red layer, green for the green layer, and blue for the blue layer. And the real easy way to do that is to use the advanced blending options, and you can get to that through Layer, Layer Style, Blending Options, and that will open this dialog box. And since we have an RGB document, you'll see channels R, G, and B. We're currently on the blue layer, so all we want from this layer is blue. So let's just turn off red and green. Now this layer is only contributing blue, and in fact its blue layer is overriding what's below. What's below is the green layer. Another way you can get to that same dialog box is just double click out here to the right of the layer name. If you click on the layer name, it thinks you want to change the name, so click to the right, and that will open that same dialog box. This is the green layer, so let's turn off red and blue. Click OK, and we have a full color image. It's that easy. This could be red, green, and blue. It could be hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. In fact, that's kind of where these colors came from, because this is an HSO color palette. The last thing we want to do is add the stars. So let's go to this top layer where the stars are, and I'll turn that layer on. And what we see is now it's opaque and it just hides everything below it. And what we really want to do is let the stars shine through, but we don't want it to make anything darker. We only want this layer to make things lighter, which would be the stars. So to do that, we'll go to the blending modes. And when you click on normal, you'll get this pop-up menu. It's currently in normal blending mode. We'll switch to lighten, so that this layer can only lighten what's below, it can't darken. And now we have stars, and I can turn that layer on and off, and you can see that the only thing it's contributing are the stars. So it's basically that easy. Obviously getting the data so that it's calibrated and ready to bring into Photoshop is a challenge, and I cover that in other videos on YouTube. And then the other challenge might be, once you have this initially color mapped, you may want to use hue saturation or selective color. For instance, I could use hue saturation and slide this hue slider and change the rotate the filter wheel to change those colors. I could use a color balance adjustment layer and change colors. And the other thing you could do, and I'll just turn these off real quick. Suppose instead of HSO we wanted to change this to a Hubble palette SHO. So right now we have green mapped as green and blue mapped as blue, and the blue actually came from the oxygen. The green came from sulfur. So if we want this to be a Hubble palette, I can again double click, bring up the layers advanced blending options dialog box, and we'll just, instead of using the blue from this layer, let's make that layer red. Click OK, and we now have a very green start at a Hubble palette. You could then go to hue saturation and use that hue saturation to rotate the color wheel to find a color balance that suits you better. You might want to change the greens to be more yellow. Once you have the red, green, and blue, once you get it close this way, then you can use the normal color adjustment tools to visually adjust the color to get what you want. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, let me know. Drop them in the comments below. If you do find this useful, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I hope you have a great day today and an even better night tonight under clear, dark skies.